Captain Jake Morrison gazed through the bridge windows of the Endeavour, his exploration vessel, as distant stars blinked in the darkness. 3 months of routine system mapping had lulled the crew into comfortable routine until an alarm shattered their peace. Red warning lights pulsed across his console while the communications officer spun toward him, anxiety written across her features. "We've got priority traffic from Earth Command," Lieutenant Maria Santos announced, tension tightening her words. "It carries the highest urgency designation." Jake crossed to the display terminal and activated the incoming feed. Admiral John Hayes materialized on screen, and the captain immediately recognized distress in the senior officer's expression. Gone was the Admiral's characteristic composure, replaced by visible dread. "Every ship must turn back to Earth without delay," Hayes declared. "We've encountered an alien civilization. They identify as the Xerion Dominion, and they've issued demands. President Carter needs to brief you personally." The image transitioned to reveal President Lisa Carter behind her desk in the White House. Military commanders and advisors flanked her position. Jake had witnessed presidential addresses before, but never one where the leader appeared this grave. "Fellow Americans and all space personnel," Carter opened. "We face humanity's darkest hour. An extraterrestrial empire reached out through sophisticated probe systems. Their requirement is total capitulation within 30 days, or they promise to annihilate every human settlement across known space." Jake's chest tightened as shock rippled through the bridge. Crew members abandoned their stations, clustering around the monitor. Nobody spoke while the president continued her sobering message. "These aliens provided footage of their armada," Carter went. "Over 200 civilizations have fallen to them. Their vessels dwarf anything we've constructed, and their capabilities appear centuries beyond our own. As proof of their strength, they obliterated multiple asteroids in our system's outer reaches." New footage replaced the president's face, showing holographic recordings transmitted by the aliens. Jake stared in mounting horror at colossal warships, each matching a small city in scale, gliding through the void in flawless formation. The craft possessed menacing architecture with angular edges and luminous weapon arrays. Hundreds filled the display, perhaps thousands. "This empire answers to High Commander Vex Thaler," Carter continued as her image returned. "He insists opposition is futile, and we should embrace conquest. He claims humans may survive as subjects serving their imperial masters." Lieutenant Santos edged closer to Jake. "What's our move, Captain?" she whispered softly. Jake raised his palm requesting silence as Carter's address proceeded. "I've convened an emergency Colonial Defense Council session," the president explained. "We're examining every option, from military response to diplomatic channels. All spacecraft must return to Earth for immediate reassignment. Citizens at remote colonies will evacuate to more defensible positions as precautionary measures." The transmission concluded, leaving the bridge in stunned quiet. Jake surveyed his 25-person crew. These were dedicated individuals, researchers and explorers who joined humanity's space initiative to expand civilization's horizons. None had volunteered for interstellar warfare. Captain Dr. Kevin Walsh called out from the science station. "I've noticed peculiar readings on our long-range detection grid. Strange signatures are appearing near the solar system's boundary." Jake approached the science console. "What kind of signatures exactly? Energy patterns inconsistent with human technology or natural phenomena?" Walsh elaborated. "They started registering roughly 6 hours back, coinciding with when we received the emergency broadcast." Jake examined the sensor data streaming across the display. The readings indicated several massive objects traveling through space beyond the outer planet. Distance prevented clear imaging, but their dimensions suggested spacecraft. "Could those be the aliens?" Santos questioned. "Perhaps," Walsh responded. "Alternatively, they might be our defensive forces taking up strategic positions. At this range, identification proves difficult." Jake reached his decision swiftly. "Plot a course for Earth at maximum velocity. Transmit to all human vessels nearby. Instruct them to form defensive groups for the return journey." As the Endeavour adjusted trajectory and accelerated homeward, Jake contemplated what they'd just learned. 30 days provided minimal preparation time for confronting an adversary with technological superiority. He questioned whether humanity possessed any realistic chance against such overwhelming force. Throughout the following hours, Jake collected reports from other exploration craft and colony transports scattered across human territories. Everyone had received identical warnings, and everyone was heading home. Spirits throughout the fleet ran low, as commanders exchanged information about the alien menace. Captain Amy Foster, commanding the research ship Discovery, sent Jake a private communication. "Have you heard anything about our defensive capabilities?" she inquired. "The president mentioned exploring military responses, but I can't imagine our modest defense fleet standing against hundreds of alien battleships." Jake shared those concerns. Humanity's space military comprised approximately 50 combat vessels, mostly designed for patrol operations and protecting commercial routes from raiders. They'd never faced genuine military conflict, especially not against an advanced extraterrestrial power. "I'm uncertain," Jake replied to Amy, "but I believe our leadership has developed some strategy. They wouldn't accept defeat without resistance." As hours accumulated, additional details about the alien demands circulated through the fleet. The Xerion Dominion had shown Earth's government recordings of previous conquests. The aliens deployed massive energy weapons to eliminate military installations, targets, then deployed ground troops to occupy population centers. Any opposition met swift and savage suppression. Jake convened a meeting with his senior staff in the ship's conference area. Lieutenant Santos, Dr. Walsh, and Engineer Pete Rodriguez assembled around the table with somber expressions. "I want complete transparency about our circumstances," Jake began. "We're confronting an adversary that subjugated hundreds of civilizations. They possess technology beyond our comprehension and military strength we can't counter through conventional means. So what are our options?" Pete Rodriguez asked. "Are we simply surrendering?" "I don't know what our government will ultimately decide," Jake responded, "but I understand one thing about our species. We're remarkably resilient. Throughout history, we've confronted insurmountable challenges and discovered ways to endure and triumph." Dr. Walsh leaned across the table. "Captain, I've been considering those energy readings we picked up. What if they're not alien vessels? What if our government has been preparing for this scenario?" "What's your theory?" Jake inquired. "Consider the possibilities," Walsh explained. "We've anticipated alien contact for decades. What if our leaders have been secretly developing defenses we're unaware of?" The suggestion offered Jake a glimmer of optimism. It seemed plausible that Earth's government maintained classified military initiatives that could assist against the alien threat. He'd encountered rumors over the years about secret research programs and undisclosed military complexes. "We'll discover the truth when we reach Earth," Jake stated. "Until then, we need to prepare for any eventuality. Ensure all our systems are functioning optimally. We might need every possible advantage." As the Endeavour pressed toward Earth, Jake stood isolated on the bridge, gazing at the star. Somewhere among those distant lights, an alien empire was preparing to destroy everything humanity had achieved. In 30 days, humanity would either discover a defense strategy or face total annihilation. Jake had always maintained faith that humans were exceptional, that their capacity to adapt and overcome obstacles made them unique across the cosmos. Now that conviction would be tested against the most formidable enemy humanity had ever encountered. 2 weeks elapsed since the alien ultimatum, and Captain Jake Morrison finally achieved Earth orbit. The sight greeting him exceeded anything he'd witnessed previously. Hundreds of vessels crowded the space surrounding Earth, from enormous cargo haulers to compact patrol craft. Surface appearances suggested normalcy, but Jake detected underlying tension in every radio exchange. President Lisa Carter appeared on displays throughout the fleet. She looked exhausted but resolute as she addressed all assembled ships. Behind her stood Admiral Susan Clark, a woman Jake recognized by reputation but had never encountered. The Admiral carried a reputation for brilliance and ruthlessness when circumstances demanded. "Citizens of humanity," Carter began, "we have 2 weeks remaining before the alien deadline. I want complete honesty with all of you. We are preparing to surrender to the Xerion Dominion to preserve human lives." Jake felt his spirits plummet hearing those words. Around him, crew members appeared shocked and dismayed. Lieutenant Maria Santos shook her head in disbelief. However, Carter continued, "We won't surrender without guaranteeing our people's safety. We're evacuating all outer colonies and relocating civilians to protected locations. This doesn't represent humanity's end. This marks the beginning of a new era." The transmission concluded, but Jake noticed something unusual. Admiral Clark had been making subtle hand gestures throughout the president's speech. They resembled military signals, but Jake couldn't decipher their meaning. Later that day, Jake received an encrypted message on a secure channel he'd never utilized previously. The message was brief and direct. "Report to Docking Bay 7 immediately. Tell no one." Jake felt confused but decided to follow the directive. He left Lieutenant Santos in command and took a shuttle to the specified coordinates. The docking bay occupied an antiquated section of the space station that most personnel never visited. When Jake arrived, he discovered Admiral Clark waiting alongside several other ship captains. Jake recognized Captain Amy Foster from the Discovery and Captain Nicole Brown from the cargo vessel Atlantic. Approximately 20 captains had assembled, all appearing confused and curious. "Thank you all for attending," Admiral Clark said quietly. "What I'm about to reveal is classified at the highest security level. The surrender announcement you witnessed today was deception designed to mislead alien surveillance systems." Jake felt a surge of optimism as the Admiral continued speaking. "For 3 decades, since we discovered the first alien probe, we've been preparing for this moment." Admiral Clark explained, "We've been constructing a secret military force the aliens know nothing about. We call it the Black Fleet." The Admiral activated a holographic display showing vessels unlike anything Jake had encountered. These craft were painted completely black with unusual designs featuring smooth, curved surfaces instead of the angular shapes characterizing normal human ships. These vessels employ advanced stealth technology, making them invisible to most detection systems. Admiral Clark stated, "They're equipped with weapons and defensive systems based on technology we reverse-engineered from captured alien probes over the years." Captain Foster raised her hand. "Where are these ships? We haven't observed anything like this in any human fleet." "They're concealed throughout the solar system," Admiral Clark replied. "Some are stationed inside asteroids that have been excavated and converted into secret bases. Others are cloaked and waiting in empty space. The aliens have no awareness they exist." The Admiral displayed additional images of the secret fleet. Jake counted at least 50 ships of varying sizes, from small fighters to massive battle cruiser. The largest ship was designated the Genesis, and Admiral Clark explained she would command it personally. "Dr. Elena Rodriguez has made a critical discovery," Admiral Clark continued. "The aliens employ psychic technology to control populations of conquered civilization. But humans possess natural resistance to this kind of mental manipulation. This provides us a significant advantage." Jake was astounded by what he was learning. Throughout these years, Earth's government had been secretly preparing for an alien invasion. The surrender announcement was merely a deception to make the aliens overconfident. "What do you need from us?" Captain Brown asked. "Your ships will be retrofitted with new weapons and defensive systems," Admiral Clark explained. "Colonel Mike Torres will oversee the modification. You'll also receive new crew members who've been training for this mission for years." Over the following days, Jake watched as his ship underwent transformation. Engineering teams worked continuously to install new equipment. The Endeavour received powerful shield generators, advanced sensors, and weapons capable of penetrating alien armor. Dr. Kevin Walsh was fascinated by the new technology. "Captain, these weapons utilize quantum energy to disrupt molecular bonds," he explained. "They can slice through almost any material, and the shield system creates a protective field that can absorb and redirect energy attacks." Jake also met some of his new crew members. Lieutenant Chris Davis was a fighter pilot who'd been training with the Secret Fleet for 5 years. Sergeant Lisa Brown was a communications specialist capable of intercepting and decoding alien transmissions. "We've been anticipating this opportunity our entire lives," Lieutenant Davis told Jake. "The aliens think they're dealing with primitive humans who'll surrender without fighting. They have no idea what's approaching." Meanwhile, Captain Amy Foster had been assigned a special mission. Her ship was equipped with advanced hacking equipment capable of penetrating alien computer systems. She'd already begun intercepting Dominion communications and gathering intelligence about their fleet movements. "The aliens are incredibly arrogant," Amy reported during a secret meeting. "They're treating this like a routine conquest. They've divided their fleet and they're not taking any precautions against surprise attacks." Dr. Martinez, a physicist who'd been working on the secret project for 15 years, explained how the defense systems around Earth had been upgraded. "We've installed energy collection arrays throughout the solar system," he said. "They can gather power from the sun and redirect it as defensive barriers or offensive weapons." Jake learned that the secret preparations extended far beyond merely building ships and weapons. Entire asteroid mining facilities had been converted into hidden military bases. Advanced artificial intelligence systems had been developed to coordinate attacks and defenses. Even some civilian evacuation ships were actually disguised military vessels. "The aliens will expect us to fight with the ships they've already observed," Admiral Clark explained during another briefing. "They've calculated that our known military forces pose no threat to their fleet, but they're unaware of the Black Fleet. When they arrive expecting an easy victory, they'll find themselves surrounded by enemies they never knew existed." As the deadline approached, Jake felt a mixture of anxiety and anticipation. The plan carried incredible risk, but it was also humanity's only genuine chance for survival. The aliens had conquered hundreds of worlds using intimidation and overwhelming force, but they'd never faced an enemy prepared for their tactics. Remember, Admiral Clark told all the captains during their final briefing. The key to this plan is surprise. The aliens must believe they're winning, until the moment we reveal the Black Fleet. Every ship, every weapon, every tactical advantage we have depends on maintaining this deception until the perfect moment. Jake returned to his ship knowing that in just days, humanity would either achieve the greatest military victory in its history, or face complete destruction. But for the first time since receiving the alien ultimatum, he believed humans had a genuine chance to win this conflict. The Black Fleet was ready. Now they simply had to wait for the aliens to make their move. The final day had arrived. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the Endeavor's bridge, watching as President Lisa Carter prepared to deliver humanity's response to the alien ultimatum. Around Earth, hundreds of ships waited in tense silence. Everyone knew the next hours would determine the fate of the human race. President Carter appeared on every screen throughout the solar system. Her face was calm and determined as she looked directly into the camera. Behind her, Jake could see Admiral John Hayes and other government officials, all wearing serious expressions. High Commander Vex Thaler of the Xerion Dominion, President Carter began, "You've demanded our surrender within 30 days. After careful consideration, the United Government of Earth hereby rejects your ultimatum. Humanity will not bow to threats or intimidation. We will defend our freedom and our right to exist as an independent species." Jake felt a surge of pride hearing these brave words. Around him, crew members cheered and applauded. Throughout the human fleet, similar celebrations erupted on every ship. On the main screen, the image changed to show High Commander Vex Thaler responding from his massive command ship. The alien leader was tall and thin with gray skin and glowing red eyes. His voice was cold and filled with anger. "Foolish humans," Vex Thaler said. "You've sealed your own fate. My fleet will arrive in your system within hours. We will destroy every world you've built and eliminate your species completely. Your resistance is meaningless." The transmission ended and immediately Jake received a priority message from Admiral Susan Clark. Her voice was steady and confident as she spoke. "To all ships in the Secret Fleet, this is Admiral Clark. All Black Fleet units," she said, "Operation Dark Strike is now active. Move to assigned positions and await further orders. Remember, maintain stealth protocols until I give the signal to reveal ourselves." Jake felt his heart racing as he realized the battle was about to begin. Around the solar system, the Black Fleet was moving into position. These ships had been hidden so long that most people had forgotten they existed, and now they would reveal themselves and show the aliens that humanity was not defenseless. Lieutenant Chris Davis, the fighter pilot who joined Jake's crew, was practically vibrating with excitement. "Captain, I've been training for this moment for 5 years. The aliens have no idea what they're about to face." Dr. Kevin Walsh was monitoring long-range sensors when he suddenly looked up with wide eyes. "Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures approaching the outer solar system. The Dominion fleet is here." On the main screen, Jake watched as hundreds of alien ships emerged from faster-than-light travel near the edge of the solar system. The ships were enormous, each one dwarfing even the largest human vessel. Their dark hulls bristled with weapons, and they moved in perfect formation like a swarm of deadly insects. Commander Vex Thaler's voice echoed across all communication channels. "Humans, witness the power of the Xerion Dominion. Your small fleet cannot stand against us. Surrender now and we will make your deaths quick." Admiral Clark responded by ordering the conventional human fleet to take defensive positions around Earth. Jake watched as familiar ships like the cruiser Liberty and the destroyer Freedom moved into formation. These were the ships the aliens expected to fight, the ones they'd calculated they could easily defeat. The Dominion fleet advanced slowly and confidently toward Earth. Jake could see they weren't taking any special precautions or maintaining tight formation. They believed they were facing a primitive enemy that posed no real threat. "All Black Fleet units. This is Admiral Clark," came the voice over the secure channel. "Enemy fleet is moving into position. Prepare for Phase 1 of the attack." Jake looked at his tactical display and saw dozens of red dots representing alien ships. But he also saw something the aliens couldn't detect. Green dots scattered throughout the solar system, marking the positions of cloaked Black Fleet vessels. The aliens were flying directly into a carefully prepared trap. Captain Amy Foster's voice came through on a private channel. "Jake, I've been monitoring alien communications. They're completely overconfident. Their commander is already discussing which human worlds to attack next." The first phase of the battle began when the aliens encountered the decoy human fleet near Mars. The conventional ships put up a brave fight, but they were clearly outmatched by the alien technology. Jake watched sadly as several human vessels were destroyed by the Dominion's powerful energy weapons. "This is painful to watch," Lieutenant Maria Santos said. "Those are good people dying out there. Their sacrifice is not in vain," Jake replied. "They're selling their lives to make the aliens overconfident." High Commander Vex Thaler broadcast another message as his fleet continued toward Earth. "See how easily your defenders fall before our might. Your resistance only delays the inevitable. Soon your homeworld will burn." But Admiral Clark was watching everything from her hidden command ship, Genesis. She waited until the alien fleet was spread out across the inner solar system, exactly where she wanted them. "All units, this is Admiral Clark," she said calmly. "Execute Dark Strike. Reveal the Black Fleet." Jake felt a thrill of excitement as he watched his tactical display. All across the solar system, green dots suddenly appeared as Black Fleet ships dropped their stealth cloaking. In seconds, the aliens found themselves surrounded by enemies they never knew existed. Commander Ryan Baker led the first wave of shadow cruisers as they materialized behind the alien fleet. His ships were sleek and deadly, painted in light-absorbing black that made them nearly invisible even when uncloaked. They moved with incredible speed and agility, nothing like the slower conventional human ships the aliens had been fighting. "Target their command vessels first," Admiral Clark ordered. "Disrupt their coordination and communication." Lieutenant Sarah Williams piloted a reconnaissance ship that stayed hidden while providing targeting data to the attack squadrons. Her sensors could penetrate alien stealth systems and identify weak points in their ship designs. The aliens were caught completely off guard. Their formations began to break apart as Black Fleet ships attacked from all directions using weapons and tactics they'd never encountered before. Quantum torpedoes phased through alien shields and exploded inside their ship. Energy weapons cut through armor that had protected them against conventional attacks. "Impossible," High Commander Vex Thaler shouted over the communication channels. "Where did these ships come from? Our sensors detected no such fleet." Alina Rodriguez, monitoring the battle from Earth, smiled as she watched the alien confusion. "Their psychic scanning technology only works on minds they can detect," she explained to her team. "Human neural patterns are naturally resistant to their sensor." The Black Fleet pressed their advantage as more ships revealed themselves. Phantom destroyers emerged from asteroid fields where they'd been hiding for years. Stealth fighters swarmed around massive alien cruisers like angry bees attacking a giant. Jake's ship, the Endeavour, had been equipped with experimental weapons during the retrofit. When Admiral Clark gave the order, Jake commanded his crew to drop their own stealth field and join the attack. "Target that alien destroyer on our starboard side," Jake ordered. "Fire quantum torpedoes." The weapons struck the alien ship with devastating effect. The enemy vessel's shields flickered and failed as the quantum energy disrupted their defensive systems. Within moments, the destroyer was crippled and drifting helplessly. All across the solar system, the same scene was playing out. The Dominion fleet, which had entered the system expecting an easy victory, was being torn apart by an enemy they never saw coming. Their superior numbers meant nothing when they couldn't coordinate their attacks or protect their vital ship. "Admiral Clark, to all units," came the voice over the communication system. "Phase 1 is complete. The enemy is in disarray. Prepare for Phase 2. Show them that humanity will never surrender." Jake looked at his crew and saw determination and pride in their faces. The Black Fleet had revealed itself, and the aliens were learning that humanity was far more dangerous than they'd ever imagined. High Commander Vex Thaler screamed orders at his crew as alien ships exploded around him. His massive command vessel shook from repeated hits by human quantum torpedoes. For the first time in his long military career, he was facing an enemy that could actually hurt his fleet. "All ships, reform defensive positions," Vex Thaler commanded. "Focus fire on the human stealth vessel. Destroy them before they can coordinate another attack." But the Dominion fleet was struggling to respond to the Black Fleet tactics. The human ships moved unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered. They would appear from nowhere, strike hard and fast, then vanish back into stealth mode before the aliens could return fire effectively. Jake Morrison watched from the Endeavour's bridge as the battle raged around Earth. His ship had just destroyed 2 alien fighters and was moving to attack a larger target. The retrofitted weapon systems were performing perfectly, cutting through alien armor like it was paper. "Captain, incoming transmission from Admiral Clark," reported Lieutenant Maria Santos. Admiral Clark's voice came through clearly despite the chaos of battle. "All units, the aliens are trying to regroup. We cannot let them coordinate their defenses. Continue hit-and-run attacks. Keep them confused and scattered." Jake acknowledged the order and turned to his weapons office. "Target that alien cruiser moving toward Earth. Fire everything we have." The Endeavour's quantum torpedoes and energy beams struck the alien ship simultaneously. The enemy vessel's shields flared and collapsed under the combined assault. Secondary explosions rippled along its hull as critical systems failed one after another. Throughout the solar system, similar scenes were playing out as the Black Fleet pressed their advantage. Commander Ryan Baker led a squadron of shadow cruisers in a devastating attack on the alien fleet's supply ships. Without these support vessels, the Dominion warships would quickly run out of ammunition and energy. "This is Baker to all shadow units," Ryan called out over the tactical channel. "Target their logistics vessels. If we can cut off their supplies, their big ships become sitting ducks." Lieutenant Sarah Williams continued providing reconnaissance data from her stealth ship. Her advanced sensors had discovered something important about the alien fleet structure. "Admiral Clark, I'm detecting a pattern in their ship movements. Their command vessel is using psychic signals to coordinate the fleet." "Understood," Admiral Clark replied. "All units, priority target is the alien command ship. If we can disable their leader, the rest of the fleet will lose coordination." But Vexthaler wasn't going to be defeated easily. The alien commander had survived dozens of battles and conquered countless worlds. He ordered his remaining ships to form a protective wall around his command vessel, while launching a desperate counterattack. "Humans," Vexthaler broadcast on all frequencies, "you may have surprised us, but you cannot defeat the might of the Dominion. We have conquered 200 worlds. Your small fleet cannot stand against our full power." The alien commander was partly right. Despite their initial success, the Black Fleet was still outnumbered. The Dominion had brought over 500 warships to Earth, and even with their losses, they still had a significant numerical advantage. Dr. Kevin Walsh, monitoring the battle from his station on the Endeavour, noticed something troubling. "Captain, the aliens are adapting to our tactic. Their ships are starting to work together more effectively." Jake could see what Walsh meant. The alien vessels were beginning to use overlapping shield patterns and coordinated fire to counter the Black Fleet's hit-and-run attack. Several human ships had been damaged or destroyed as the aliens adjusted their strategy. "Admiral Clark, to all units came the urgent transmission. The enemy is adapting faster than expected. Activate the orbital defense platforms. It's time to show them our home field advantage." Around Earth and Mars, hidden defense platforms suddenly powered up and revealed themselves. These massive installations had been disguised as asteroids and space debris, but now they showed their true nature as powerful military installations. Martinez had spent 15 years designing these platforms, and now his work was about to be tested in actual combat. The platforms used concentrated solar energy and magnetic field manipulation to create defensive barriers around the human homeworlds. The first alien attack on Earth met an unexpected obstacle. Their powerful energy beams, which had destroyed countless planets, were absorbed and redirected by the human defense grid. The platforms collected the alien weapon energy and sent it back at the attacking ships with devastating effect. "Impossible," Vexthaler roared as he watched his own weapons being turned against his fleet. "Their technology cannot be this advanced. They are a primitive species," but Lieutenant Chris Davis was proving that human pilots had advantages beyond just technology. His fighter squadron was engaging alien ships in close combat, and the aliens were discovering that humans were much better at improvised tactics and split-second decision-making. "These aliens fight like machines," Chris reported to Jake. "They follow predictable patterns. Once you figure out their routine, they're easy to outmaneuver." The battle reached a critical point when Captain Nicole Brown led a daring assault directly on Vexthaler's command ship. Her stealth cruiser managed to penetrate the alien defensive screen and strike at the heart of their fleet coordination. "All ships, this is Brown," she called out as her vessel fired quantum torpedoes at point-blank range. "I'm hitting their command center. Their psychic coordination system is taking heavy damage." The effect was immediate and dramatic. Across the Dominion fleet, alien ships began moving erratically as their psychic command network was disrupted. Ships that had been working together moments before were now operating independently, making them much easier targets for the Black Fleet. Admiral John Hayes, commanding the conventional human fleet, saw the opportunity and ordered a full assault. "All remaining ships, attack now while they're disorganized. Support the Black Fleet. Advance." The combined human forces pressed forward with renewed energy. Ships that had been hiding or retreating now joined the attack with everything they had. Even damaged vessels limped forward to contribute to the assault. Dr. Elena Rodriguez was monitoring the battle from Earth's command center when she noticed something unexpected. Several alien ships had stopped fighting and were sending surrender signals. Her analysis of their communications revealed something remarkable. "Admiral Clark," Dr. Rodriguez reported excitedly, "some of the alien crews are surrendering. They're saying they never wanted to fight this war. They were forced into service by the Dominion." This news spread quickly through the human fleet and had an unexpected effect on the battle. Some Black Fleet captains began accepting alien surrenders instead of destroying every enemy ship. The surrendering vessels provided valuable intelligence about Dominion weaknesses and tactics. Captain Amy Foster, who'd been intercepting alien communications throughout the battle, made contact with one of the defecting ships. "This is Foster to the alien vessel requesting sanctuary. We accept your surrender. Prepare to be boarded by our inspection team." The alien captain who responded had a voice filled with relief. "Thank you, humans. We are tired of the Dominion's endless wars. Many of us only joined because our homeworlds were threatened. As more alien ships defected or surrendered, the tide of battle turned decisively in humanity's favor. Vextaler's fleet was being destroyed or abandoned by his own forces. The alien commander found himself commanding fewer and fewer ships as the battle continued. "This cannot be happening," Vextaler said to himself as he watched his empire's greatest fleet falling apart around him. "We are the Dominion. We are supreme. How can these primitive humans defeat us?" But Jake Morrison knew the answer as he watched human ships fighting with courage and determination throughout the solar system. Humanity hadn't won because of superior technology or number. They'd won because they refused to give up, because they could adapt and improvise, and because they fought not just for conquest, but for their freedom and survival. The battle for Earth was nearly over, but Jake realized this was just the beginning of something much larger. High Commander Vextaler stood alone on the bridge of his damaged command ship, watching as the last of his fleet either surrendered or fled toward the edge of the solar system. His once mighty invasion force had been reduced to fewer than 50 ships, and even those were badly damaged and demoralized. "Commander," his communications officer said with fear in his voice, "we're receiving surrender demands from the human fleet. They want us to power down our weapons and prepare to be boarded." Vextaler looked out at the space around Earth, now filled with human ships of all sizes. The Black Fleet vessels moved through the wreckage of his once proud armada like hunters stalking wounded prey. For the first time in centuries, the Xerion Dominion had been defeated in open battle. "Sir, what are your orders?" the communications officer asked again. Before Vextaler could answer, a new transmission came through from the human fleet. Admiral Susan Clark appeared on the main screen, her face showing both determination and mercy. "High Commander Vextaler," Admiral Clark said calmly, "your invasion has failed. Your fleet is destroyed. I'm offering you one chance to surrender with honor. Your crew will be treated fairly according to human standards of war." Vextaler felt centuries of pride and arrogance crumbling around him. The Dominion had never been forced to surrender before, but as he looked at the tactical display showing how completely his forces had been defeated, he realized he had no choice. "I accept your terms," Vextaler said quietly. The Xerion Dominion fleet surrendered. Throughout the solar system, the remaining alien ships powered down their weapons and waited for human boarding parties. Captain Jake Morrison led one of these teams as they took control of a damaged Dominion cruiser. What he found surprised him. The alien crew consisted of beings from several different species, not just the gray-skinned Xerions. There were blue-scaled reptilian creatures, tall insect-like beings, and others that Jake had never seen before. Most of them looked relieved rather than angry about their defeat. "We're grateful to be free of Dominion control," explained one of the alien officers, a blue-scaled being named Zex Kolar. "My people were conquered 50 years ago. We've been forced to fight in their wars ever since." Dr. Elena Rodriguez arrived on the captured ship to interview the alien prisoner. Her scientific background helped her understand the complex political situation within the Dominion. What she learned was remarkable. "Jake," she told him privately, "these aren't willing soldiers. Most of these species were conquered and forced into military service. The Dominion uses a combination of threats and psychic control to maintain their loyalty." This discovery changed everything. President Lisa Carter called an emergency meeting of the Colonial Defense Council to discuss the implications. If most of the Dominion military consisted of unwilling conscripts, then humanity faced a very different situation than they'd originally thought. "We have an opportunity here," President Carter told the assembled leader. "We can offer these alien species freedom from Dominion control in exchange for their cooperation." Admiral John Hayes was skeptical. "How do we know this isn't a trick? These aliens could be lying to gain our trust." But Dr. Rodriguez had been monitoring the alien communications and biological responses. "Their neural patterns show genuine relief and gratitude," she reported. "I believe they're telling the truth about being forced into service." Captain Amy Foster had been analyzing the intelligence gathered from captured Dominion ships. Her findings supported Dr. Rodriguez's conclusions. The communications logs show that many species within the Dominion had been planning rebellions for years. "Our victory has given them hope." President Carter made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. She authorized a message to be broadcast throughout Dominion space. offering protection and alliance to any species that wanted to break free from Imperial control. People of the galaxy, President Carter said in the transmission, humanity offers you an alternative to Dominion tyranny. We will protect any world that declares independence from Imperial rule. Together we can build a galaxy based on freedom and cooperation instead of conquest and fear. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Within days, over 30 worlds declared independence from the Dominion and requested human protection. Species that had been enslaved for centuries were finally seeing a chance for freedom. Admiral Clark began organizing a new fleet to support these liberation movements. The Black Fleet would serve as the core of this force, but it would be expanded to include ships and crews from allied alien species. Captain Jake Morrison received orders to lead an expedition to the Alir system, where 3 different species had declared independence and were under threat from remaining Dominion forces. His crew now included volunteers from several alien species who wanted to help liberate their homeworld. Captain said Zex Kolar, who joined the Endeavor's crew, "My people on Alir Prime have been waiting for this moment for 50 years. We know the location of all Dominion military installations in the system." Lieutenant Chris Davis was excited about working with alien allies. "Sir, some of these species have flying abilities that our fighters can't match. If we coordinate our attacks properly, we'll be unstoppable." The expedition to Alir was a complete success. The combined human and alien force overwhelmed the small Dominion garrison and liberated all 3 worlds in the system. More importantly, they captured a major Dominion communications hub that provided intelligence about Imperial operations throughout the galaxy. Kevin Walsh analyzed the captured data and made an important discovery. "The Dominion is much weaker than we thought," he told Jake. "They rely heavily on fear and intimidation. When that fails, as it did here at Earth, their entire system starts to collapse." News of the Alir liberation spread quickly throughout the galaxy. More worlds declared independence, and Dominion forces found themselves fighting rebellions on dozens of fronts. The empire that had seemed invincible was crumbling from within. Back on Earth, construction had begun on new shipyards and training facilities. Humans were sharing their technology with allied species while learning from alien knowledge and experience. The result was a new generation of ships that combined the best features of multiple civilizations. Commander Ryan Baker was put in charge of training mixed human and alien crews. "These allies bring skills and knowledge we never had," he reported to Admiral Clark. "Some species are natural navigators who can plot courses through space that we never imagined possible." Captain Nicole Brown led a diplomatic mission to the Dominion capital world to negotiate with High Commander Vex Thaler, who was now effectively a prisoner of his own crumbling empire. The negotiations resulted in a formal treaty ending hostilities and establishing rules for the treatment of surrendering Dominion forces. "The old empire is finished," Vex Thaler admitted during the negotiations. "Your victory at Earth showed the galaxy that the Dominion could be defeated. We can never again rule through fear alone." 6 months after the battle for Earth, Jake Morrison stood on the Endeavor's bridge as it led a fleet of over 200 ships representing dozens of different species. They were heading toward the Outer Rim territories to liberate more worlds and establish new colonies based on freedom and cooperation. "Captain," said Lieutenant Maria Santos, "we're receiving welcome messages from 3 more systems that want to join our alliance." Jake smiled as he looked out at the stars. Humanity had not only defended itself against an impossible threat but had become the leader of a galactic liberation movement. The Black Fleet, once Earth's secret weapon, was now the foundation of a new alliance dedicated to protecting freedom throughout the galaxy. "Set course for the Vega system," Jake ordered. "Let's go free some more worlds." The age of the Xerion Dominion was over. The age of galactic freedom had begun, and humanity would lead the way to a better future for all species willing to fight for their liberty.